Hey family, how y'all doing? Welcome to the African Ancestry Experience, where we discuss how we as Black people view ourselves and Africa. Tonight, our guest is the first ever poet in residence at New York's Lincoln Center, Mahogany L. Browne, and she's here to give more proof that Black girls are simply magical. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned because I want to know ya.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia.
The African Ancestry Experience is all about sharing identity-focused conversations with the African diaspora. So you trace your DNA, you find your roots, and then you explore more about who you are. I'm so happy to see all of you here today. Shout out to Dante, I imagine that's your name. Nicole Taylor, Robert Ashcraft in the house, and Di. I'm so glad to see you all. Welcome. And thank you for being here with us. Did you all catch Monday's National DNA Day conversation? African DNA Matters? Our experts were the best. They talked about precision medicine, what it is, and how it impacts Black people. Let me tell you, I had so much pride seeing 4 Black scientists, PhDs, talking about this very important matter as it relates to our DNA. Head on over to YouTube and catch the replay if you weren't there. You got to check it out. Now, many of you all are at different stages of your African ancestry journey. You know, if you haven't taken a test yet, I always recommend heading over to AfricanAncestry.com to take advantage of our Mother's Day sale. Yes, we're celebrating mothers just in time. You can get a kit for your mom now and she'll have it by Mother's Day. Save 10% off of any African Ancestry test kit using the code MOM22. We also have some limited edition royalties and we have our African DNA pin. So hopefully you guys will add those to your order and represent. You OGs can get some good info over on our website too, and even share with people that you know who've been asking you questions. So we've got the answers for you. You know, every Wednesday, I should say, not every night, but every Wednesday, we give away some AA swag to the first person to join us after 7 p.m. So someone was here just before 7, but it's for you got to be here when we start. You got to be here after 7. So shout out to the winner of the swag. Wendy's going to figure out who that is. Hey, Mary, nice to see you. Menelix in the house, and Lisa, Dr. Tracy Smalls, Marshall, glad to have you here on the platform with us. I'm so excited. I'm talking fast because I can't wait. You know, we tried to talk to Mahogany L. Browne to kick off National Poetry Month, and she was on a Caribbean island and subject to the weather and the climate. So we are really honored that she found the time to close out National Poetry Month with us. Like I said, she's the first ever poet in residence, so she is in demand. Shout out to Ndai, who won the African Ancestry royalty. So if you email us your mailing address Ndai, and your size, we'll get your t-shirt in the mail. It's a pre-order right now, so as soon as we have them, we'll get it in the mail to you. Don't forget, y'all, I need y'all to like, I need you to share, I need you to subscribe, I need you to turn on notifications so that you don't miss anything. We put a lot of time and energy into having guests who are enlightening and who are like-minded and who are down with identity and the importance of being a person of African descent. And we want you all to get all that goodness. But if you have to catch us on the replay, that's okay too. So make sure that you set the subscription so that you can automatically come and check us out. So like I said, we got a heavy hitter with us today. We don't play. We bring you guys the best. I want you all to put some book emojis in the chat to welcome Ms. Mahogany L. Browne. She's a poet, she's an author, she's an activist. Uh, and I'm so glad to meet you. Thank you for being here, Mahogany.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
How
so
are you
glad we
doing?
finally got this in order.
Yes, I know we can't compete with the islands, girl. You that's okay. I totally understand.
In spirit, y'all was there with me in spirit.
Yes, yes. How are you feeling today?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm feeling better and better as time goes on, and listening to even the premise of this conversation, but also the way in which you engage with the community is wildly inspiring. So I'm feeling even better than before when I tapped in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And shout out to Joseph and all of the Mende and Temini and Limba family members who are joining us. Today is Sierra Leone's Independence Day.
Right
So
on.
we want to shout out all the people who descend from Salone. We have a group of people who are there right now, Mahogany,
All right.
celebrating their ancestry, and they're going to be getting citizenship. I don't know. It might be tomorrow or Friday.
That's
They will become
amazing.
citizens.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, what better way to celebrate than to be with folks and fam?
Okay. So there's so much to talk about. And you all, hopefully she'll read for us. She'll read some of her work. But
Okay, a
I
little
want you all
some.
to know who this sister is. And so we have an excerpt from your poem, Black Girl Magic.
Okay.
They say you ain't supposed to be here, black girl. You ain't supposed to wear red lipstick. You ain't supposed to wear high heels. You ain't supposed to smile in public. You ain't supposed to smile nowhere, black girl. You ain't supposed to be no more than a girlfriend. You ain't supposed to get married. You ain't supposed to want no dream that big. You ain't supposed to dream at all. You ain't supposed to do nothing but carry babies and carry felons and carry weaves and carry silence and carry families and carry confusion and carry a nation.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
But never an opinion.
Mahogany. Listen, I wore red lipstick today. And
Yes.
Black Girl Magic. I was
It
like,
looks
no,
nice.
we get to wear all the red lipstick we want to wear.
So they know.
Exactly.
All of the shades are ours. It just looks good on us no matter what.
Girl, this power though. And we just played an excerpt. Y'all got to go onto YouTube and watch the rest of it. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on the recorded material when we got live and direct with us right here. But that is such a powerful piece that you wrote. I want to see some sparkles in the comments if you guys felt that power. But now, I want to know where you got your Black Girl Magic from. And this is how we like to start the show. So I'm going to ask a question, or I'm going to make a statement, and I want you to fill in the blank. Okay.
Okay.
I am
A Black woman.
Okay. A Black woman, plain and simple. I love the way you said it.
Period.
Though. You said it like period. Like it was like you had a time limit. Like it was
I felt like
Jeopardy or something.
I won to win. Did I win?
Yes, you won.
I was born. I won. Yes,
you absolutely won. So growing up, did you feel magical?
You know, I didn't. Growing up, I felt like I wasn't the right kind of Black girl. I'm from Oakland, California. I didn't move to Brooklyn, New York until, 22 years ago. So while I was raised in a space where, I'm Black and I'm proud, we got the Black Panthers, all of those things are big, right? But what we America.
Okay, I think she's okay. We're gonna let Mahogany refresh. See, look at the internet trying to steal our Black girl magic. We're not gonna let them do it. So she's coming out and coming back in. So you guys, let's chat. Let's chat. Have you all ever heard of Mahogany L. Browne before? Put something in the comments if you're familiar with Mahogany's poetry. Dr. Tracy said, we got this. Yeah, we've dealt with worse. I want to know if you guys are familiar. Are there any poets in the family? So anybody in our fam who's watching us right now, are you a poet? I do not have any poetry skills at all. None whatsoever. I don't know. I'm feeling like there's a lot of delay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our Mother's Day promotion. So as you know, we have an African ancestry test kit called the Matriclan test. The Matriclan test traces maternal ancestry, mother to mother to mother to mother going back 500 to 2,000 years. And so for this Mother's Day, wouldn't that be an incredible thing to trace your maternal ancestry and find out where your ancestral mother was prior to the transatlantic slave trade? You can do that with a Matriclan test and share the results with everybody in the family who comes from your grandmother or who comes from her mother. And so that's what we are encouraging people to do this month for Mother's Day. Here's Mahogany. Mahogany, I'm glad you're back.
I would just refresh and rebooting, trying to get back in there.
That's okay. We're good.
Okay.
So you're on mute.
Better?
Yeah. You were saying that you didn't feel like you were the right kind of Black girl.
Yeah. I didn't know I was magical, right? I knew that I could be funny. I knew I could be fast. I knew like beat people in foot races, and I'm good at bowling and kickball and tetherball. And I really tried to excel in these spaces because I was constantly charged with being not enough. And so I thought if I just was a good resource, right? If I just was a good Black girl, that they would see me worthy of calling me something other than ugly, or as. Nah, I didn't realize. I didn't know that I was okay.
Dr. Tracy says, I'm a poet. Okay. And Demende, does that mean you're a poet too? I'm loving that we have these poets, and I know we've got magical Black girls in the African ancestry community, because I know some of you guys, and you guys are always here supporting us and shouting out the things that make you magical, like your ancestry. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Here we go. She's back.
This little StreamYard is playing. It's playing with my right when I get in the good row. I'm glad we got poets in the building. No, that's what's up. So I'll keep it to soundbite responses just in case I get cut off. I say that all to say it took me time to realize that we were all responding from a wounded place. Even the young people, the jokes that we talked about, on each other, or clapped, or whatever they say anymore, snapped. Those things they wear on you. So it took a long time for me to realize that I was magic. But by the time I had my daughter, I was determined to only raise her seeing Black girls as beautiful. Every which way they showed up. There's no one way to show up. There's no one skin color. There's no one hair texture. There's no specific neighborhood. Black girls be magic from every part of the globe. So when I realized we were magic, I was well into my adulthood. And looking back, I can see myself like fighting the ideas of what was beauty, because I just kept making myself be in the front and center anyway. I was like, well, you just gonna have to get used to it. Whatever, I'm gonna just be here.
Right. Just take this beauty right here, right now.
All this. You're gonna get this work today.
You mentioned growing up in Oakland, and all of the social forces that were around Oakland during your childhood. What about Africa? Did Africa play a role in your childhood at all?
Not at all. Not at all. If it played a role, it was a charge for like comedy relief for so long. It wasn't until I moved to Brooklyn, New York, that I understood the birthplace, like really the Mecca, like what everybody is walking around because of. Like at the end of the day, that's the only reason we're here, any of us, period. right? Like the inventions, the swag, the scholarship is because of that continent. And so it took me so long, unfortunately too long, because it wasn't taught readily in school.
Mhm.
Like, all right, February, that's it. All right, we're done. It wasn't like readily available. And then by the time I get home, you know, I'm in spaces where the crack epidemic has decimated us, where mass incarceration has decimated us, where single parent households have decimated even the ability to have conversations about it, to have questions about it. So yeah, it took some time for me to understand the importance of that continent, the importance of Africa's touch on my entirety. And
Mhm.
now I'm going for the first time this year, so I'm excited.
Where are you going?
Ghana,
Okay. And
yes,
are you going in your capacity as a poet? Or are you going for vacation? Or what's taking you there?
I'm taking me. That's
Okay.
it. I'm going. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no performances scheduled. Um, and I didn't want to go for like a musical concert series. I want to go. I want to see family. You know, there's some folks that I know that are from there. They're hosting me, and I'm gonna just take advantage of the moment and try to really be present for this return.
Do you have any ideas or thoughts about how that experience may impact you?
So one of my good friends, Christine Platt, she goes by Afro Minimalist. She goes often, and she said, "You're gonna cry, Mo. Like you're gonna touch the water, and that's gonna be it. And you just need to have the moment. Like give yourself a day where you just let yourself lose it, so
Mhm.
that you can recover and you can really experience all of it. But like if you try to jump in and go and just go for like the cuteness or the IG photos, or you will miss your calling. And so I'm ready to experience that welcoming and just be grounded and really aware of
Yeah.
my surroundings.
Yeah. It'll be interesting too, since your work is your work, all of your work, not just your poetry, but your activism, um, is rooted in helping people through trauma. And
Mhm.
so it'll be interesting to see what kind of healing
Mm.
happens for
Mm.
you, or what kind of healing energy, if any, you experience while you're there. Um,
Mm.
you know, I just there's so many questions I want to ask you, but I really want to hear you read.
Okay.
I got kind of hyped up by by the clip, and I know you have a new book,
I do.
and I want to hear about the new book, and maybe you could share something from that with us.
Okay. So
Vinyl.
this is Vinyl Moon. This is my second YA novel. It is a novel hybrid. So it's a verse. That means poetry. That means poems. That means prose. I'm writing from a space of text messages, epistolary poems, emails, contrapuntals. So it's a hybrid. I'm trying to use the device of all languages, right? All the ways in which we talk to each other. Young people, their shorthand and text messages is a whole nother language. It's like hieroglyphics. Okay. I've tried to read it on my own. I needed a study guide. So I'm trying to do that with poetry in this way. I'll read you a couple of pieces. A
Okay.
little background about this young woman. She shows up originally in my first YA novel, Chlorine Sky. Her name is Angel. And she goes through this really traumatic moment, this domestic issue with the boyfriend. She's in high school, but she goes through a domestic issue with the boyfriend and is moved to Brooklyn, New York from California. So now she's very aware of her nervous system. She's like, what is happening? Why do I feel everything? Like she's coming to terms with it and learning new ways to process. So I'll give you past, present, and future for Angel.
Okay.
We'll start with, have you ever been catcalled? It's like running, running, running forever towards safety, away from the sounds that scare you most. It's like pretending you are in control of your own life, of your own ideas, with no idea of who wants to take your light from you. It's like running until you hit a wall and the wall doesn't budge and the wall doesn't care that you're scared. And you've been taught to fear the sound of walls blocking your path, blocking your way. blocking your vision? Have you ever been catcalled? Been called ma, sweetie, sugar, honey by people who don't know you? They sound so sweet when they say sweetie, sugar, ma, yo, ma. Your heart knows you can't trust it, and your blood races, and your eyes dart, and you begin to sweat because you've seen what those sweet nothings can become if you don't accept them gracefully, if you don't acknowledge them. Have you ever been catcalled and witnessed ma transform into the word bitch, and watched baby bloom into the word slut, and learn how easily sugar can be shortened into a nasty slur? Have you ever been catcalled? Have you ever been chased? Have you ever been followed? Have you ever had to run, swing, and hide from danger? Have you ever been followed? Have you ever been chased up the block, behind the stairs? Have you ever felt your heart beating in your chest? Have you ever felt your heartbeat stutter step kick climb its way out your throat? Have you ever been bitten for saying no thank you? Have you ever been kicked for saying I'm not interested? Have you ever felt like you might not make it home safe? Have you ever felt like you might not make it home? Have you ever felt like you might not make it? Rewind. Oma. I had no idea my whole life was a series of vignettes quilted together into some kind of life. The first time I knew sadness had a name, I watched Elena and my dad fight. She was in the kitchen, I think. It was Christmas break, I think. Amir, my brother, and I played with our toys near the door, I think. She screamed, I think. We ran outside, I think. Amir cried, I think. The sky was still opening for the high sun's arrival, but we ran. I remember. We ran. I remember. We ran. I remember now. Our matching pajamas with the Disney characters dancing on our chests as we raced next door to call our Oma. Her voice sang after the second ring, Merry Christmas. And my voice didn't sing because my heart was beating too fast. Oma, Oma, she's on the floor. He hit her, I croaked. Her voice turned from tinsel and glitter to hot stone. Here I come. Don't move. Meditation be like, you got yourself. You got yourself. You got to grab a hold of yourself sometimes and just hold on. You got to stop hearing the bad. You got to stop storing the bad in the bag next to your heart. You got to let it go. You can only control your reaction. You can only control your field of vision. You got yourself. You ain't got to have nobody, but if you got you, you got the gold. You win. You a winner. You got yourself. You got it. You got the park walks if you are lucky. You got sweet desserts if you are looking. You got the sauce and the swag. You got it all, even when it feels like you've got nothing. You got it. It is you. You got it. It is you. You know your name. You know your dreams. You got the power to change whenever you choose. You got the power to choose you. Remember? Do you remember? What is your favorite song? Sing that. What is your favorite color? Wear that. Who is your friend? Tell them you love them, then look in the mirror. Now say it again. Even the weirdest things are still here because they have a name, like you. Even the strangest things are still here because they have a name, like you. Even the loneliest room is a room, like you. Alone is not lonely because you have you. The world is not complete. All its vibrations and sensations, all its sounds and smells, all its lessons calling us to the front of the class. Just hold on. Thank you.
What are we supposed to do, Mahogany, after that?
This is a little past, present, and future. So the past was her thinking of Oma. The present was that moment of being catcalled in the heart. And then, of course, the meditation is the future. Like she's figured it out. Like you have to steal yourself, right? You have to be resolved. And even in the moment of the storm, as long as you are aware that, okay, it's happening. I see it happening, right? But I still got me. So how do I honor me? How do I take care of me in the moment in which nothing feels like I'm in control? But the reality is we ain't got to control outside of ourselves. We got to control us. When we control us, that means our time, That means our attention. That means our care, right? Our friendships, our kinships, people having access to you. That is a gift. So as soon as I was able to name that, especially for someone so young, giving them autonomy, I thought was like, that's going to be it. Because I didn't remember feeling like I had autonomy over myself and my time and even my love. Like, who do I get to say I love? Who do I get to say is my friend? Who is my village? Where my tribe at? Do they claim me? Do I claim them? Are we showing up for each other? I wanted to show that journey. I feel like we go through it all the time. I feel like we cycle in and out of it. I thought I learned some stuff when I graduated high school. Turns out I don't know much, child.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What you just read for us was from Vinyl Moon, your second young adult book, which is I want to ask you about the difference between poetry and a poem and all that. But you wrote that for young people, but that was, every adult who is listening heard it and it resonated in some way. So, thank you for doing that for young people, but you've also done it for us. I'm sure put something in the comments if you've been catcalled. If you're a woman and you've been catcalled, I want to see it in the comments. I know that there are women on here who've been catcalled, and you do have that dilemma. Like, how do you react? You want to, you don't want it to escalate to turn into all the other words that you just described, so. And then even to the meditations, we talk about that almost every week on African Ancestry, self-care.
Yes, we do. That's the sellable thing in the market, right? Like self-care. You got to buy this, you got to do this, and you're like, but I thought self-care can be stillness.
Yeah.
Right? Self-care can be breathing. Self-care can be reading a book. Self-care can say, I'm not logging on to Instagram today because I've lost 3 hours looking at a life that's not my own, or upset about lives that aren't my own. Like, we can focus, we can change our focal points. That can be self-care too. You got to look at the things that replenish you. And unfortunately, I feel like I learned too late.
Like, it's never too late, girl. You're a youngin' on this timeline. You're a youngin'.
I look young. I'm old. I just had a birthday too.
Say it again.
I just had a birthday too, so
But I'm just saying, on the timeline, that's another thing that we have to. And we might, Wendy, maybe this is something we can do a show on. But we need to start celebrating aging.
Yes.
Look, spoken like someone who's entering the process. But it's an honor to be an elder. It's an honor to have that level of wisdom and have that level of experience. And so that's why I say, I don't know how old you are, but I know you're not quite an elder yet. So that's why I'm saying you're a youngin' on the timeline. You got plenty of time, God willing, to learn some more and to do some more. I'm really curious about the education work you do. And so even though, I know that you're the poet in residence, the first poet in residence at the Lincoln Center, and you're the founder of the Diverse Lit Initiative, and you work with Just Media, a media literacy initiative that supports the work of criminal justice leaders and people in the community. But since we're talking about this young adult writing, what has been one of your most fulfilling moments as an educator when you think about your poetry work? Oh, she's frozen. The internet just does not.
It does.
It doesn't, but it's okay, because we are the original. Our drums were the original internet, so we gonna roll with it.
I love that. Okay.
Did you my question?
Early, I ain't got my paycheck. I gotta pay tithes. You can't do that to us. That's good. That's good. My most I've been able to work with, mentor, and learn from some of the most brilliant minds that does not feel arbitrary. It feels, designed by the universe for real. So students that I worked with as young poets, then went on to, star in Hamilton, traveling the world, starting up nonprofits, poet laureates. I just feel like anytime a young person that is now an adult gets a job, then I did it right. So I'm constantly overflowing with like, oh man, I did that right, child. I feel good about that for real, because I didn't feel like poetry was mine for so long. I was introduced to poetry in fourth, fifth grade as an oratory competition. I memorized my James Weldon Johnson, The Creation. I knew it by heart. We won. Won't he do it? Will he won't? And I was like, oh, that's amazing, but it wasn't mine. And so then when I wrote my first poem, that wasn't until maybe 11th grade that I remember, of course. And it was so traumatic. The teacher basically said she was going to flunk me if I didn't turn another thing in because it had curse words. And I said, well, you said self-expression. That's one. And myself says curse words. That's two. And you also said remix the classic with contemporary. And I remixed Dante's Inferno with NWA. So I feel like I rose to the occasion. Okay. I did my part. I want my grade. And she's just like, it was AP Lit. I'll never forget. She said, this is unacceptable. And if you don't turn it in correctly, you're going to flunk. So I did turn it in a different version, of course. I graduated fine, but I didn't return to poetry for another 4 years. I never wrote another poem. It took me 4 years to write another poem.
Well, what made you decide to write another one?
A dare. My auntie dared me. Because remember, I show up and I'm like, I'll play kickball, I'll play basketball, I'm a very competitive spirit. For some reason, I'm used to people telling me no and to be quiet and to shut up. So anytime I see a little bit of negative energy, I'm like, oh, I want that. I'm going to change their mind. And so she said, I'll dare you to do a poem at the open mic. And I said, I'll do it if you do it. And she said, okay. And we both signed up the next week. And I wrote my first poem the week before. Practice it so I could read it off the page without looking too much at the page. Got up on stage, read that poem, got a standing ovation. I almost cried, not because of the standing ovation, it was dope, but because I had never heard people just listen to me and applaud me for me. I was used to reading other people's work. And so I walked off stage like, oh my gosh, I don't believe that I got to, they get it. Like, I'm not speaking to a wall. I'm not speaking in a void. I said, I can't wait to hear what you're going to do, Auntie. And she said, oh, I didn't sign up. And that was the end of the night, but I was bit. And while I was mad at her, I was like, that's really whack. I had been bitten by that bug, that moment where you're like, oh, I found my family. Every week for the next 2 years, I performed at that same spot every single week. They had to close the doors and lock me out. That I went and I did them poems, and the poems changed me. They changed me. They changed who I am. They gave me a vision of what my life could be. And after that moment, I started looking at, I guess I could write poems. Cool. Sure. I'll give it a shot. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm in New York City reading a poem at Joe's Pub, and then Carnegie Hall, and then I'm running the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, and that lasted for about 13 years, touring the world. I was one of the first performance poets to ever go to Warsaw, Poland, representing the United States. Stayed with a host family from Ghana in the UK, did month-long residencies there, and 20 years of writing poems, performing poems, teaching poems, and going into spaces, remembering the woman who told me that my words were not valid, going into spaces with that in my forefront, because I wanted the young people to see me and be like, you're a poet and you say ain't? What? You get to do that? You sure do. You get to say ain't. You get to read your poems in your familiar dialect. You can do whatever you want with the poem. The idea of the poem is to share the self. And no one can tell you that your self is good, bad, or indifferent. You are you, and however that story comes out, we need to hear that, right? Now, there's a way to respect people. We're not going to talk about the hate crimes and the hate violence in speech. I'm just talking about telling those very personal, familial stories in poetic form. And once I was able to do that, yeah, I had no idea poetry was such a weapon. And now I know why she tried to keep me away from it, because the freedom is wild. The freedom, whew, you can't tell me nothing. And you can't tell me nothing twice, actually.
Listen, a lot of people are asking in the comments, where can we buy your book?
Oh, everywhere. All of my books are in the bookstore, or those that are in print are in the bookstores.
Okay. So then you all should go to mahoganybooks.com. Then that they're our partner, Mahogany Books. But I was wondering if they could get them directly from you, because if they can get them directly from you, then we can. Okay, cool. So go to mahoganybooks.com or any other Black bookseller,
yes.
And to get your copies of Vitamin Moon,
Yes.
Chlorine Sky.
And if you see poetry, we have so many books of poems, including one that's coming out next year, but one that just came out this year is called I Remember Death by Its Proximity to What I Love. And it is a lyrical investigation of the impact of mass incarceration on women and children.
Now, is that your title, or is it? I missed the first part of what you said. Is it
It's
a compilation?
No, it's a book-length poem.
A book-length poem. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I Remember Death by Its Proximity to What I Love. And I put some information in this private chat, so maybe it can be shared, but it's my bibliography and all the bookstores that you can get it at. Specifically, the indie bookstores. This is Indie Bookstore Month. So let's keep our people alive.
Yeah, Wendy can grab that from the chat. So wait. So I don't think of, how do you have a book-length poem?
It's very long. It's like, the Iliad is considered a poem, right? You have yeah, it's just a very long poem, and it traverses the landscape of the human condition.
Gosh, she was getting to the good part. It traverses the landscape of the human condition. And then she froze. So yeah, you guys, please check out bookshop.org, the link that Wendy put in the chat. Here she is. Okay. Nope. So that you can get Mahogany's work from an independent bookseller. And as you know, we are partial to mahoganybooks.com. I agree with you, Walter. She's a wise one, whatever her age. I couldn't have said it better. And I remember things like, here she is. I was just thinking as you were talking, I was thinking about like Deaf Poetry Jam and how, the beginning of when, for people outside of New York, outside of certain New York neighborhoods, poetry became popularized, and how, you talked about it, how you have mentees and students who are now performing on Broadway and in Broadway plays and are poet laureates. And you just never really think, I don't know, poetry to me feels like that sort of forgotten or unthought about, that's not a word, but the thing that we don't think about. But whenever I hear it, it's this feeling of comfort and this feeling of familiarity and this feeling of creativity. And so when you said a book-length poem, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it's something.
They just do not want her to be great today. You guys, you're going to go get her poem and her poems and her books, and get this information that the internet is trying to keep away from us.
The internet is such haters.
I know. I think we just got to get you hardwired next time.
Yeah.
If you're hardwired, then that eliminates some of that.
Or we can just do our COVID test and do it in person.
How about that?
I'm down. Let's do a live taping of this at Lincoln Center. Boom. It's been said. It's been written.
All right. But I feel like I'm going to have to write a poem for it.
No, you just got to come as your fly self. Now, poems with.
But I want to write a poem. All right, that you all heard it here. We're going to do a live taping of the African Ancestry Experience from Lincoln Center. I think we should do it when she comes back from Ghana. That way we can really make it African. We can infuse some more Africanness into it. I hope she comes back because we need her to play Fact or Whack with us. There you are. Did you hear me when I said we should do it when you come back from Africa?
Ghana, you are invited. You gonna welcome me home from home.
So you know what we should do then, Mahogany? Why don't we, because you haven't taken the test yet, right?
No.
Are you interested in knowing where you're from?
As long as they don't Henrietta Lacks me.
So African Ancestry is the only company that does not sell or share our customers' DNA. Our lab destroys the DNA once is determined.
Don't give me goosebumps. I'm sorry.
We're in the business of being Black, and so we are very committed to the security and confidentiality of our customers' DNA. You guys are our family.
I love that.
Family doesn't mistreat family should not mistreat family, and this family does not do that. But I think that would be an interesting mix, to find out where you're from, and then you have your Ghana experience. Okay, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. So Mahogany, every week we play a game called Fact or Whack, and I'm just convinced that you're going to be able to come back in and play Fact or Whack with us. It's when we see how much our family members in the comments know about a topic. And so we're going to start off, we're going to do poetry related fact statements this tonight. So the first one, I'll read it till she comes back. Phyllis Wheatley published poems on various subjects, religion and moral. The first book, Phyllis Wheatley published poems on various subjects, religion and moral. The first book ever written and published by an African American. Is that fact or is that whack? Okay, I see some facts. Was Phyllis Wheatley the first published author? First Black published author? Okay, I'm seeing quite a few facts. Okay, I see Mahogany's back. Mahogany, do you think this is fact or whack? Was Phyllis Wheatley's book the first ever written and published by an African American?
I want to.
She wants to say, okay, Wendy, fact. All right, y'all got it. Very good. We got all facts on that one. Congratulations. Y'all know. See, we got the poetry vibe going here on the African Ancestry Experience. Okay, what's the next one? Number 2. Published in 1773, Wheatley's book of poems was published 3 years before America gained its independence. Okay. That was the support of the first one. Okay. I was like, that sounds like the answer. Okay, number 2. Toni Morrison is the first African American, first woman, and youngest person at 41 years old to be appointed poet-laureate of the United States. Is that fact or is that whack? Is Toni Morrison the first African American woman and youngest person to be appointed poet laureate of the United States? Okay, I got mostly facts. Aaliyah's like, nah, that's whack. But everybody else is coming through with facts. Plachette's like, okay, Wendy, is this a fact or it's whack? The first poet laureate of the United States was Rita Dove. Mahogany knew that one.
I did. I'm so sad.
Every time you just can't talk. Every time you start talking. Okay, here's our final one. The term Black girl magic has been used more than 31 million times on Instagram. Is that fact or is that whack? The Black girl magic term has been used more than 31 million times on Instagram. Is that fact or whack, Mahogany? Quick.
I think it's whack. I think there's more.
You think there's more?
Yeah.
Okay, we got some facts. We got a few. Jasmine said fact. Walter doesn't know. Okay. We're split. What's the answer? Fact.
What? I thought it was way more.
Way more than 31 million?
Yes. We got Beyonce numbers, 121 million.
You know, and it may be when this statistic was whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Stated, when this was stated. DC's own. So this Black girl magic came straight out of DC. See, I try to tell y'all, Kashawan Thompson coined the phrase Black girl magic out of frustration with the Psychology Today article that called Black women the most unattractive people on the earth in 2013. She set them straight. Because now we've decided that it's 121 million times that Black girl magic phrase has been used on Instagram. What'd you say? Golly, man. Anyway, she was saying something great. And that's just on Instagram. That's not, how many times it's been used across all platforms and all settings. We can't even count that. But yeah, go ahead, Kashawan Thompson. Yes. DC's finest. All right, y'all. Listen, this has been great. I hope you guys don't. We got a little writing going on at African Ancestry. They're not poems, but you can read our essays, our written word at africanancestry.com/blog to get more information about who we are. You can also take the Find Your Tribe quiz if you don't know where you're from and see which ethnic group you may have the most in common with. But of course, it's nothing like the real thing. And so I encourage you to get an African Ancestry test kit that now through Mother's Day is 10% off. Listen, we offer Affirm as a payment option. Remember that the results you get are the same for everyone in your family on that branch of the tree. So when you take a matriclan test, the results are the same for your kids, your grandkids, your brothers and sisters, your nieces and nephews, their kids, your mother, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, their kids, your grandmother. Look, I've already named 50 people who are going to share the results of this one test. So it's a gift for Mother's Day, but it's a gift for the entire family. And because Mahogany is a mother, we're going to gift you with a matriclan test kit. And so happy Mother's Day in advance to you, Mahogany. Thank you.
I was just going to go buy it right now. I'm like 15% off. Woo!
Well, you can pay it forward to someone else and help them take advantage of the privilege of being able to trace your DNA and find your roots. And then we'll see where you're from and we'll reconvene. What if you're from Ghana? What if you're Akan or Ah or Ewe or Fanti?
I might not come back.
Okay, we'll just come visit you.
I'm just saying we'll have Lincoln Center satellite.
Zoom.
No more Zooms. We're gonna do a satellite version of it where we pre-recorded and then we put it onto the.
I know that's right. Look, we can record it in Ghana. When are you going to Ghana?
December.
In December. Okay. All right, cool. So listen, everybody, you can catch this episode, the replay of this. If you're watching in the replay, please put a book emoji in the chat on our African Ancestry channel on YouTube. And we'll be back Wednesday for the next African Ancestry Experience. So Mahogany, we've started a science education program. We kicked it off last week when we talked with a geneticist who's doing prostate cancer research. Then this week, we had this panel of incredible geneticists and genetic counselor of talking about precision medicine. And then at the beginning of next month, we're going to talk with Barbara Harrison, who's an MS CGC and a genetic counselor, about how we interpret this information and how important it is to have support when we get information about our health and our genetics, so that we can use the information in the right way. But I am overjoyed. I'm so glad that we got to meet. Shout out to Nick James for making the introduction.
Hey, area.
Shout out to Wendy Cherry for making this production happen tonight. And Mahogany, I wish you all the best. I can't wait till we're in person. And thank you again for all the work that you're doing to support our community through poetry.
Thank you for making it possible for me to return properly. I'm excited for us to do an in-person situation. And I will see you when I'm in DC. I will make it a plan, because I have a Black Girl Magic gift bag for you. We put one aside for you and Wendy. Thank y'all again for donating those tickets. Next time we will have you there in person.
Yeah, listen, I really wanted to come, and then I was like, let me just give them to a friend. Don't even, that whole thing about, you can claim your time and you can control these. I had to control my time. Listen, but everybody, I thank all of you for being with us tonight. And as I say every week, as we go off and into the rest of the week, Wendy's going to be having a great time with her sorors this weekend. I want you all to please continue to be safe and be careful. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be whole. We'll see you again next week.
Right on.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island.